Good morning, everyone. This is Ain't Nobody Squeaky Clean. And as always, I appreciate you for joining the podcast. Hopefully, you're getting what you need out of this. And if you haven't gotten it yet, I'm sure whatever topic you're waiting on is coming very, very soon. You ever sit back and realize that there are people you used to see more than your own family? And now you couldn't tell somebody where they are today if your life depended on it. That's a crazy thought when you really process it. I'm talking about people you spent years with, people you rode to work with, ate lunch with, traveled with, sat in meetings with for 8 hours a day, people you laughed with every single morning. And then one day the job ends, the team changes, you move, they move, a contract ends, somebody gets promoted, somebody gets laid off, and boom, it's like everybody got Thanos snapped out of existence. Gone. No goodbye tour. No dramatic movie ending. No, we'll always stay close. Just silence. And honestly, that part of adulthood is way harder than people admit. Because when you're in those environments, you think those relationships are permanent. You think, hey, we're family here. Man, corporations have convinced people they're family while HR is printing termination paperwork upstairs. Sports teams do it too. We're brothers forever until the season ends and everybody transfers, gets cut, retires, or signs somewhere else. Even school is like that. You grow up with people for 12 years. 12. That's basically a prison sentence together. And then after graduation, people scatter like somebody yelled, "The building's on fire." One person moves to Texas, another gets married, someone joins the military, another becomes a crypto expert overnight, and one disappears into parenthood completely. And suddenly, the people who knew everything about your daily life know absolutely nothing about you anymore. That's wild. What's even crazier is this. Sometimes it's not even beef. Nobody argued. Nobody betrayed anybody. Life just drifted. And drifting might be the most powerful force on earth. Because relationships don't always explode. Most relationships evaporate slowly. No dramatic ending, just less calls, less text messages, less checking in. Until one day you realize, dang, I haven't talked to them in like 3 years. 3 years. And it felt like 3 weeks. That's adulthood. And if I'm being real, I think some of us struggle with this because certain people became part of our identity, especially when you work somewhere for a long time. You weren't just friends with those people, they were part of your routine. They were your lunch buddies. They were people that you looked for every single day when you got to work. And humans get attached to those routines more than we realize. You miss those random conversations, the inside jokes, the "yo, you good?" talks in the hallway. As I mentioned, those lunch runs, the complaining about management together. You even miss the people you swore got on your nerves. That's real. Because presence matters. Human beings get used to presence. That's why retirement hits some people hard too. It's not just the money, it's the disappearance of the ecosystem around them. One day everybody needs you, calls you, emails you, invites you to the meetings. Then suddenly, nothing. Your phone is quiet, your inbox is quiet, your life is quiet. And that silence can mess with you mentally if you're not prepared for it, especially if you tied your worth to being needed. And then social media makes this even weirder because now people don't fully disappear, they become ghosts with Wi Fi. You don't talk to them, but you see them. Vacations, new jobs, kids growing up, concerts, successes. You're watching people continue life from a distance like you're observing another universe. And sometimes you wonder, if we were so close, how did we become strangers? That question hits hard, but I've also learned something important. Some people are seasonal, not fake, not evil, seasonal. They were assigned to a chapter of your life. And once that chapter ended, their role ended too. That doesn't mean the memories were fake. It just means that life moved. And honestly, sometimes we ourselves disappear from people too. That's the uncomfortable truth that nobody likes discussing. There are probably people out there saying, man, I haven't heard from him in years. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here thinking that they disappeared. Everybody's surviving, adapting, carrying invisible weight. Adulthood becomes less about keeping every connection alive and more about appreciating the moments while they exist. Because life changes fast. Jobs end, schools end, teams end, neighborhoods change, people evolve. And one day you wake up realizing an entire era of your life exists only in memories. Let me say that again. An entire era of your life exists only in memories. That's deep. But here's the beautiful part, too. Every now and then, somebody pops back up. A random text, a random call, a random, hey man, I was thinking about you. You might pass somebody on the street, just see them walking down the street, and you're like, dang, that's my boy. It's like no time passed at all. For a second, those moments remind you that even if people disappear from your daily life, the impact they had on your life can still remain. And maybe that's what really matters. Not permanent proximity, but meaningful moments. Because the older I get, the more I realize life is basically a series of temporary locker rooms. People enter, people exit. And all you can really do is appreciate who was there while the room was full. As I've moved through life, I think back to a lot of the connections that I've made in the various places that we talked about today. My teammates, my classmates, my coworkers, my neighbors. You know, I've had neighbors in the past that I held 1 hour conversations with at least twice a week. And then when I moved, I probably haven't talked to them for 1 hour in the last 10 years. It's just amazing. It's almost fascinating how these relationships develop and then poof, just disappear immediately. And there's no therapy for it, there's no reasoning. It's just life. But somehow we need to keep moving forward. It's like you're having many breakups with people throughout your life, and you don't even know when that time is going to come. but you got to keep moving forward. So today, relish those relationships. Think about them. Remember them. If there's somebody that you're connected with, but you haven't physically or verbally talked to them, not physically, but you haven't talked to them or reached out to them in a while, touch base. Say hello. You never know, because the loss of that relationship might have meant more to them than it means to you. And they'd be happy to hear from you. As always, this is Ain't Nobody Squeaky Clean. And until next time, I hope you have a blessed day and a blessed week. But don't forget to reach out to someone. Those memories might spark something in them that could push them forward from whatever it is they're dealing with right now. I'll talk to you soon.